Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video, and today we are here for the Mexican Grand Prix, last to first, and today, as you would have read by the title, we're going to be picking Lewis Hamilton. Now all he needs to do at some point during the last 5 races of the season is score just 10 points, so you know it's looking fairly likely that Hamilton will win this year's Formula 1 World title. But we're going to try today, starting right from the very back, 110 AI, and we're going to see if we can try and go from last place all the way up to P5, you know, in the Grand Prix here. Sebastian Vettel doing everything he possibly can by starting on pole this Grand Prix. But yeah, I think in terms of the real Formula 1 season, overall it's been quite a good year, you know. Although I think a lot of people really wanted to see, you know, the title fight come right down to the very end. It was lucky that, you know, it wasn't sort of Hamilton, I'm trying to think, you know, Hamilton's, you know, he's done everything he needed to as well, you know. Once Vettel started to struggle, Hamilton hasn't slacked off in any way yet, so, you know, he's still trying to do everything he possibly can. For all we know, Vettel might come back, you know, Hamilton might have rather unlikely reliability issues right towards the very end of the season, but we should wait and see. I'm hoping Hamilton can wrap it up this weekend at the Mexican Grand Prix. But here we are then on the grid. Here we are at Mexico. 2 Saubers just in front of me, but it's 5 lights, and it is finally lights out, and away we go. Off to actually quite a decent start. They're one of the better starts I've had on F1 2017, as the Saubers and Van Dorn try to go 3 wide already down in towards turn 1. The very long run all the way down towards turn 1 here. You can see already a lot of the cars already pulling away from the back 4 here and breaking down, locking up the front inside wheel there. The Sauber tries to keep it down the inside. We try and go for a late little lunge on Fernando Alonso there, but he just shuts the door on that one as we now try and file our way through turn 2 and turn 3 there, through the tight chicanes. You can see Stroll gets completely caught out there, and we're going to fly past him, fly past Fernando Alonso as well, breaking down into the next corner, though he does break a bit later than me. Should be able to hook it up right around the outside of Fernando Alonso there, try and squeeze him out wide on the exit of the corner, just keep the car turned in, you know, in front of him here. And now, you know, we might be able to squeeze him out wide. We will have the power on the exit, and now finally we move up into P15 of the Grand Prix. Kvyat and Sainz now side by side ahead of me here in the Toro Rosso, something that, you know, I don't think we'll ever see again for either of them, to be honest. You know, obviously Kvyat this week has been dropped by the Red Bull program there. You know, I personally felt that was a bit unfair. You know, that'll be a video for a later date. And now diving down in towards the final few corners here into the stadium section, we're going to try and look right around the outside of Danny Kvyat there. He tries to keep the front end in, but we're just able to get him on the exit of the corner there. And now out of the final corner, last to 14th in lap 1 of the Grand Prix. They've been quite a good, successful start to this race, obviously on the harder set of tyres here. But I won't lie, you know, we were struggling a little bit with the pace at this moment in time. You know, Mexico really not a track I'm a particularly big fan of on this game, and now as you can see, skipping all the way on to lap 4 of the race, we'd finally closed down Carlos Sainz with the DRS, with the slipstream and the rich revs down in towards turn 1. You know, nothing he's going to be able to do to try and defend from this Mercedes car. So now up into P13 of the Grand Prix here, and this is, you know, we're still making our way through the field at the moment. Probably not as swift progress as we may have liked, but next up will be Kevin Magnussen in the Haas here, and I think he's actually fighting with Jolyon Palmer just ahead of him there up in P11. You know, a name that I really miss from the Formula 1 grid, I think, you know, we can all agree, is Jolyon tries to go a bit defensive down in towards turn 1. They squeeze each other out wide through the corner there. Magnussen going to try and have the inside, but it will turn back to the outside on the exit of the corner there. We're losing the back end, trying to maximise my run on the exit of the corner there, and Magnussen now looks like he has moved up into P11, but not for long. We're going to dive it down the inside of the pair of them there, battle of the late breakers there, locking up their front tyres. But we now move up into P11 of this Grand Prix, so we've only got 6 more places to go, and we've got 13 laps to do so. You know, we're still, progress is, it's not looking particularly brilliant. If you have a look on the mini-map, you can see the top 6 have really been able to make quite a breakaway from the rest of the field here. So, you know, you can see the top 2 are already through the final sector, and after an engine retirement for Esteban Ocon here, we are now in the points, and we get a much better run than Felipe Massa in towards the final sector of the lap. We should have looked just about down the inside there, break that a little bit later than Felipe there. Now up into P9 of the Grand Prix, and next up on my hit list will be Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault car. The other Renault car, as we come out of the final corner here, are we going to be able to make any sort of run? We don't get a particularly good run out of that final corner here. You know, there's still, you know, this ridiculously long straight around this circuit. You know, Mexico, I'm a really big fan of this, you know, long straight obviously does promote a lot more overtaking in the grand scheme of things, and it works. This track actually works quite well with like DRS and things, but breaking down very, very late down the inside of Nico Hulkenberg there, now up into P8 of the Grand Prix here. So, you know, only 3 more places to go, 10 laps to do so, and you know, these 3 next places are going to be very, very difficult to try and, you know, overcome, because you can see as we skip on to the end of lap 8 here, and the drivers are now starting to make their pit stops, and Sebastian Vettel is already exiting the pit lane as I've just gone past this. So he's basically got a pit stop advantage over myself at the moment. You know, that is certainly not what I need in this Grand Prix. I think, you know, the win it's off the cards, I think we can safely say, as we come through the first couple of chicanes once more here. You know, you can really try and ride those curves as much as possible. But on the end of a lap 9 here, we're going to now dive it into the pit lane here. Unfortunately, my teammate Bottas also opted to come in on this lap here. You know, we don't want to spend much more time on this harder compound of tyres, so we're going to dive it down into the pit lane. I did tell the team, you know, I did go on the radio and say that we would be coming into the pits on this lap, but still a very, very slow pit stop there. We get held up behind another car as well there. No idea. You know, that's what, a 4 or 5 second pit stop overall, although it only says, you know, it was a 3-second stop there. But certainly a pit stop from Nightmares, you know, definitely there, you know, certainly not what we needed there. And now as we come out of the pit lane, unfortunately not able to get the pit lane speed limiter as well off particularly quickly there. And you can see now we've lost out so much time. Nico Hulkenberg is now all over the back of me once more here, and that really does just go to show how much time we have lost as now we go down in towards turn 1. Hopefully we can try and pull away from him just that bit more and hunt Roman Grosjean in the Haas car just up the road ahead of me here. And now, you know, down these back straights, you know, we do have quite a big advantage, but not as big as I was expecting, in all honesty. But as we skip on to the end of lap 10 here, a few more drivers now in the pits once more, so we are going to make up a couple more places here. But, you know, we're still now in the slipstream with the DRS. Grosjean is going to have a look past Pascal Wehrlein in the Sauber car. We're going to try and have a look to the other side of him, but Grosjean's going to try and shut the door on me, so we're going to go for a cheeky switchback, weave it between the 2 cars down in towards turn 1. Now up into P7 of the Grand Prix here. So, you know, 2 more places to go, 7 laps to do so here, and next up will be Sergio Perez in the Force India car, and we are pushing to the absolute limits at the moment, you know, to try and make up as many places as we possibly can through Sector 2 here, this long flowing sector that I imagine will be brilliant in the 2017 cars here. And we're still now all over the back of the homeboy Sergio Perez here. He'll be looking for a very, very strong result this weekend, attacking the curbs in towards the stadium section. Then we're going to dive it down the inside. This will not be what the Mexicans want to see there, but we move now up into P6 of the Grand Prix here. 1 more place to go before we can crown ourselves Formula 1 World Champion here, and it's going to be Max Verstappen, who's 5 seconds up the road here. So 5 seconds in 5 laps. It is a very, very tall order. But you see, coming through these next couple of laps, you know, we are still pushing to the absolute limit, and it was looking potentially like it could be quite tight by the very end. You know, I was, you know, absolutely pushing this car to the limits and beyond at the moment. You know, as we come on to the end of a lap 15, it was looking like we were fighting a losing battle, I wasn't going to lie. You know, as we come through the end of lap 15 there, as you can see, the gap now is still over 3.5 seconds. And unfortunately, as we skip on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, we weren't able to catch up to Max Verstappen just there. But Kimi Räikkönen did come through to win the Grand Prix, which does mean, though, on the other hand, we are the F1 2017 Formula 1 World Champion there. Certainly, you know, not the way, you know, you want to win it, but I think definitely for Lewis this weekend, you know, he'll be really, really pushing the car to the absolute limit. You know, I think really these final 3 races, he's probably going to try and, you know, win all 3 potentially. Maybe help out the Red Bulls, get that bit close to Ferrari, as there is still the potential that they could jump them in. Well, it's highly unlikely, but there is still, you know, they're closer to Ferrari than Ferrari are to Mercedes now in the constructors there. But Kimi Räikkönen, as I said, able to come through to win the Mexican Grand Prix there. Definitely, he's one of the drivers I can, you know, definitely not see winning the Grand Prix this weekend. I think, you know, as history has shown, Max Verstappen probably is the man to put your money on, as Danny Kvyat has been sacked. So, you know, that's usually how Formula 1 works there. But yeah, there we are then, the end of the Mexican Grand Prix. Unfortunately, that last to 6th place on the whole there. Sebastian Vettel came through in P2, so I highly doubt, we're going to see the first two in that order there. If there's any chance that Ferrari are looking at a 1-2, I think we all know who will be coming through in that P1 at the end of the day there. But Valtteri Bottas does round out the podium as well. But hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this video. Do not forget to like, subscribe if you want to see more content on the channel. As I said, hopefully you've enjoyed this last to first. Only sadly unable to make it just to 6th place in the end, behind the Red Bulls, my teammate, and the Ferraris there. But as I said, thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys next time for a brand new video.